I'll go easy on you to the best of my ability. Let me know when we're live.
Right now.
We are? Awesome. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Talk. This is a different one because we're live, which we don't do very often, but every now and then we have need of it. Something comes up, disrupts the schedule, and so we're doing it this way this week. So thanks for joining us, whether you are coming in later or you're right here with your coffee ready to go. And we're going to talk about actually the coffee in our cups this morning. And we do avoid this most of the weeks, but it's unavoidable this week because this week we're drinking Seeds of Hope coffee. Mm-hmm. And Seeds of Hope is a ministry that we've been partnered with for a number of years, not in selling their coffee, but in praying for the Chalkases and financially supporting them. And more than that, being informed of what they do. And I think sometimes we lose sight of how important that is to our missionary partners to just be aware of what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And so we have an opportunity in June. John is going to be in town and he's going to stop by and share some updates, and it'll be on Father's Day, so that's just coincidental. That's when he was available. Mm-hmm. And so don't be surprised on June 19th when you're here, you'll see him. I don't know if he'll have coffee for sale, but I think the emphasis is child sponsorship. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to get people here in Canada connected with the lives of kids in their ministry centers around the world. And so be aware of that, church. That'll be June 19th. That's coming up in a month. Yeah. Which really is
quick. Month today.
A month today. Wow. Mm-hmm. So that's for you. So we'll get a couple other things on the schedule for us to be aware of. But usually we like to get into early in our conversation here kind of a question coming up from the sermon the last week. And I thought this morning, Jeff, you had suggested this one, but something about preparedness. Mm-hmm. I thought, when was a time that we have felt absolutely ill-prepared? Mm. And while you think about that, I'll share a story. Okay. Because it's not a ministry one. There's loads of ministry ones. Maybe I'll share a quick one of each. I remember coming into the grade 12 chemistry final. How I ended up in chemistry is like, it makes no sense. It was one of those, in grade 10 science, the teacher made a remark on the report card that I showed some aptitude to chemistry. I don't think he knew me. I think he had me confused with another student. But as a result, I'm like, okay, well, sure, we'll do, because in grade 11, you got to then specify which science. I'm like, not a science student. I'm like, I'm only going to do one. So I went, fine, if the teacher says chemistry, I'll do chemistry. I barely passed. I've passed Chem 11 with like 52% or something like that. It was like just a whoop. And so, but then it was like, what do I do now? I've got to take a grade 12 science because I want to get into university. So do I just stick with chemistry, or do I all of a sudden try and get all like biology 11 and 12 in the same year and do that? So I stuck with chemistry. And the day of the chemistry final, I was feeling okay. But just before the exam, I walked into the class. Our exam was in another room, but I walk into the classroom because I just had a last-minute question. I wanted to say bye to the teacher or something like that. And there was like the smartest girl in the class, if not the whole school. And she was in tears. She's at one of the tables, bawling her eyes out, and the teacher's just working through some stuff with her, like chemistry. And I thought, oh my goodness, if she is that nervous about this test, I'm toast. Like, I don't have a chance of passing this thing if she's like, I'm done. And at that point I realized, like, the test was starting in just a few minutes, like 30 minutes before. I'm like, that's it. I'm going to fail. And then I'm going to fail chemistry. And it was all this thing. So I walked in. I did okay. I don't remember my score, but I passed. Yeah. I graduated high school. Yeah. I had the grade 12 grade. I probably was like another 52% kind of thing. But anyways, I in that moment started to panic because I felt absolutely ill-prepared. Mm-hmm. And I had no idea what to do as I walked then into that exam. But what about you guys? Where's a time where you've been?
You know, that just triggered for me similar.
Sorry to trigger you.
Is that a bad word? Maybe I shouldn't use that, triggered.
It's a word.
It's spurred something in me. So I was the opposite. I was a math and science guy going up through high school, and I did not do well in history and English, you know, and social, you know, those kind of things. Well, I did okay, but they weren't my favorite, and I didn't know how to write beyond reports, like in math and sciences, you write what happened, but it was factual. So when I had to write a report for history class, it was very much grab this quote and fill in between the quotes. So I went from quote to quote to quote, right? It should just be factual. So when I transitioned from engineering into ministry, so I worked as an engineer for a few years. When I went to seminary, I almost had an ulcer that first semester because I had to write 15-page papers. I had no idea how to write anything more than 3 or 4 pages. That's all I had ever done, right? Except for reports and stuff. So I was just stressing. So I felt very ill-prepared for writing.
Yeah.
And then I got through that. And the next class that I was really, really, really nervous about was homiletics, which is preaching. And I just did not feel ready to preach to my peers. We had to preach 3 times through the semester, and that was really tough. So yeah, similar ways that I felt ill-prepared, but learned and got through it, and God gave me what I needed to do it. So yeah. How about you?
Similar. I remember similar, but I'm not going to say it. Same thing, but biology, and I had everything down pat. And then the final essay on grade 12, and I actually was A+ all throughout the year, and I don't really normally get that, and I really was nailing it all throughout the year. Then it came to the final, nailed all this section, and then there was the final essay, and it was describe in words the life cycle of a tapeworm, and for some reason my mind just blanked because I'm like, I studied the human body anatomy, all the chemicals and hormones and all of those things. I know them all. Couldn't get it. And,
brutal.
And it was. But actually, more than anything, there's a few times I've gone out on a big long bike ride, 50, 60K.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, I did not bring enough snacks to kind of get me through. So then you get 2/3 of the way through, and you're like, I am just dead.
Did you find yourself cycling with your mouth open, hoping to catch a fly or something? Just come on, God! Ah!
Good work.
That'd be gross. I will say I do have a vivid memory of my first day of ministry, and I know I've shared this story with some people before, but it was that I had just moved to a new town. I live in North Island. And I was in a youth ministry position in this little church. And it was just a temporary thing, but still, it was the first time on my own, not being supervised. I mean, there was a pastor, but, not when I was an intern with another youth pastor kind of telling me what to do. And I just remember getting ready for my first day of work and going, okay, I've just spent 4 years training for this. That was just a couple months previous. And I went, I have no idea what I'm doing. What do I do today? What? Yeah. And I think we still have days like that in ministry where even after years of experience and all of the education we've done and all of that, where you're going, I don't know if anything's prepared me for this moment.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's exactly how I felt first day of COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
First day of COVID was oh man, we're in the deep end. There's nothing in school that talked about this, or even in previous ministry experience or anything like that. And the recognition was, actually, I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
So.
Well, because we really had what we need. Well, most of what we need. I mean, there was some equipment we had to run out that day and acquire.
But not even equipment, but here.
Yeah, but that's it, right? It was that, but we had people. We had absolutely God guiding us, and we got through it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just to tie it back to your sermon, for all of us, we're all called, and we're all supposed to be Jesus' disciples, sharing the good news, loving people. And we find ourselves in situations where we're in front of someone and we feel like we need to know what to say.
Yeah.
And one thing that I've learned is that most of the time, I just need to listen, right? Like pray in my head and listen and just try to understand the person. And then they will usually, something will come out either that the Holy Spirit will inspire or something that they say they'll have a question or something. And it's not having all the answers. We always feel ill-prepared because we don't have the answers, but most of the time they're not wanting a specific answer. They're wanting the presence of Jesus that you represent, right? And then that will spur more questions. And then if you don't know something, I'll find out for you, and it's the relationship, and that's what, so just to help, with the answering, how do we go unprepared? We are prepared. We have prayer. We have ability to listen. We have, those are the things that, like you said just a few minutes before we started, we are more prepared than we think, I think is what you said. So
yeah, well, I think a lot of people are probably familiar with the old adage, right? And it goes something like, God doesn't call the equipped, he equips the called. And I agree with that, but I also don't. And the part of me that doesn't is because I think sometimes that causes us to think, okay, I'm going to follow Jesus and then he'll give me everything I need. And I think more often than not, he's given us everything we need, we just don't realize it. And he's given us his spirit, he's given us families, he's given us social connection, he's given us so many things. And sometimes we just need to look at all the blessing he's brought into our life, all the challenges that he's used to help us grow and to strengthen us. And then we go, okay, God, how do we use that for you? And I don't want us to think that he won't, obviously he continues to develop us and equip us and mature us, but sometimes we just need to be more disciplined at going, okay, what is he given? How do I use it?
And I think you have to couple with that a sense of lifelong learning as well too, right? Like,
absolutely.
Like, even I was going to say, go to Bible school. Well, no, not necessarily. That's not the silver bullet. And secondly, what do you do when you're out of Bible school? It's that sense of like, God, you're growing me and you're developing me and you've given me everything for a simple conversation to somebody on a bus, right? You've given me everything for that, and that's ministry. And then on top of that, what does that mean? How do I understand it? How do I develop that? How do I even stretch that ministry muscle a little bit that I may be feeling lacking in as well too?
Absolutely.
I think that ministry sometimes is a muscle, like, or even speaking to people in ways that we feel very uncomfortable with. That need to be stretched
Well, and as I said on Sunday, like when we get involved in ministry, that helps us grow, and we then are stretched, and then we grow, and then we're stretched, and we grow, and it just is like you said, lifelong learning is so important. It's a great vehicle for personal and faith development. So. That and all of that again is just to encourage you, church, that have conversations with people. Listen, I love that note. That's great. But then get out there, because you probably, if you're feeling ill prepared, pay attention to that. Don't go, it doesn't matter. But at the same time, think about how that might actually prepare you for something further, just by saying yes. And so that's important, that we continue to say yes to Jesus and see where he takes us. And we might in the moment be kind of white knuckling things because things are a little crazy, but then I trust that looking back on it, we go, oh yeah, there was something really, really good that came out of that. And so,
one thing that we've also said yes to that we've been saying no for quite a while. Not quite a while, a couple of years now. Is we have not had a church picnic in a couple of years.
Yes.
And so we decided this year we would say yes because things have changed. But we're going to change it up a little bit. And we are saying yes to the fact that we want to get people together and to connect. And so what we've decided is all throughout June, because June is like a great month just to put stuff together. Every Sunday in June at 12 o'clock, we are going to meet at Gellatly Nut Farm. Now, that's where we're saying right now. It might have to change, but we'll let you know in the service. But every Sunday after church at noon, we're just going to meet down there. You come and you bring your own food. bring an activity to do, bring some lawn chairs, come and hang out, connect with other people. And this is going to be kind of our sense of picnic, because we just want to get people together and have fun and enjoy the outdoors and play some baseball, soccer, whatever. If it's a really nice day, the kids might be in the water, all kinds of stuff. There's a playground there, there's good parking, there's bathrooms, everything that we need. So we're going to do that every Sunday in June, and then kind of go from there. And you might be able to make one of those, you might be able to make all of those, but we encourage you to just come and to connect and just share life together.
I think it's going to be fun. I'm excited about it. I'm excited because I think it emphasizes the main thing, which is being together. And I think that's awesome.
And it gives opportunity because not everybody can make the one date.
Yeah.
So you got, hey, I can't make this date, but I'll make this one, yeah.
And if you're bringing your own food, then you can also take care of what you need if you have certain dietary restrictions or allergies or something like that.
Yeah.
So that way you can kind of just take care of your own stuff, take care of your own family, and go for it. And then the food is not the big thing. The togetherness is the big thing.
Absolutely. Love it. Looking forward to that a lot. So that's going to be every Sunday in June, which is coming up.
Yeah,
quick.
a couple weeks.
Yeah. Something else coming up that church, you need to be aware of. It's an invitation. Drama Camp is coming back, and it's going to be in August. And registration for it, though, is starting next week. And so on the website, online, we'll have all of the details about how to register, who to register, but it's for youth, right? Grade, I'm going to mess up the details. It's like grade 5 to 9, something like that.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that,
Yeah.
which is bad. I should know that. But we will buy registration starts. But registration will be up and running. It's going to be in August. It's a great story. It's super fun. I think that's what I'm like dialing into these days. And details is someone else's. No, we're all on it. It's going to be great. So if you've got a teenager in your life who likes drama and wants to be part of drama camp, or if you've got time, if you've got time and you want to help volunteer, and you like drama, or you even just like hanging out with teens, or you just like something to do, come join us. We'll talk to me or Lori or Kevin or Jeff or whoever, and we'll help you get connected with ways of serving or being part of camp. And man, it's going to be a fun week. I'm so excited about that. I think it's just going to be, it's a blast. I'm glad Drama Camp's coming back in a real, a way we haven't had in a couple of years. I mean, we've done some pandemic drama camps, and it's just been a little different. And this year is going to be a little more like, at least now as we're planning, a little more like it used to be, and that's a good thing. It's a real good thing. I think that's everything I have on our list for this week, unless you guys know of anything I forgot.
Just a reminder, the baby bottles, keep filling those.
Thank you.
We had a message on Sunday about that, so.
Right, and those conclude on the 19th of June.
Yep.
So you do have a few weeks. Right, exactly. So we're going from one, it's good. It's real good as we think about, ministries that we can partner with and support and all of that. So, get the baby bottles in. And church, we thanks for spending time with us, and we look forward to seeing you on Sunday. And we'll connect again soon. What?
I turned the mouse off.
Yeah.